Hey there, folks. Welcome to WECB, the underground sound of Emerson College. How are y'all doing today? We are technically not experts. My name is Elliot Kelton.
And I'm Daryn, and here at Technically Not Experts, we talk about our hyperfixations that we are oh so passionate about and explain to the other person who has no knowledge of it. So while we're technically not experts, we are for all intents and purposes.
But not legally.
Stop.
So, what's the topic going to be about today?
Transformers.
Transformers.
Yes.
Are you a fan of Transformers? Is this like a very exciting thing for you?
No.
No.
I really, really hate Transformers, which is why I'm passionate about it.
Beautiful.
Personally. Yeah. So, I've seen some pretty terrible movies. I'm a film major, for all of you who do not know. And that means I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen a lot of terrible movies. I've seen Cats. And this...
I've seen Cats. I've seen Cats 2 times in theaters.
So have I.
It was incredible.
It was so much fun. But Transformers is not very fun to watch.
Don't talk it down about Cats.
Here's the thing about Cats, though. Cats is like a bad movie that's like fun to watch because it's so terrible. Transformers, to me, isn't very fun to watch. But it is, in my opinion, very fun to talk about, which is why I'm going to be talking about it today. So to give a quick synopsis of what Transformers is for the uninitiated.
I've never seen it.
Transformers is a 2007 science fiction action film directed by Michael Bay, based on the titular toy line. So are you aware of the Transformers toys?
I am aware of the toys. Here are the things I know about Transformers.
Okay.
There's Bumblebee. There's Shia LaBeouf.
Perfect. You understand the movies completely.
I think there's also like a lot of bathroom jokes. Or am I wrong?
There's a lot of terrible jokes that belong in a toilet, but not.
For some reason, maybe in the back of my head, I just have a memory of like one of the Transformers like peeing on something.
Oh, we'll get to that. That does happen, but it's not
bathroom jokes.
It's not on a toilet.
Oh, I know.
So the story follows, just to give like a quick rundown before I go into the nitty-gritty of the plot. The story follows protagonist Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf, and his female crush and companion, Michaela Baines, played by Megan Fox.
I have a question. Is Shia LaBeouf a rageful cannibal in this movie?
Unfortunately not. I think that would definitely have made the movie way better.
I wish. You try and ask for some things.
Sometimes you just can't get what you want, Elliot. So after Sam buys a new car and discovers it's actually an alien robot in disguise, he and Michaela are thrown into the middle of a war between the benevolent Autobots and the villainous Decepticons that has been occurring for thousands of years.
I already have questions.
I'll probably answer.
Wait. Can I please ask a question already?
Sure.
How has it been occurring for thousands of years if we haven't had cars for thousands of years?
They're robots that can turn into cars to disguise themselves, but they don't always turn into cars. Some of them turn into phones. Some of them turn into different
We haven't
things.
had technology for thousands of years.
The point is they're not, the car part isn't as important as the fact that they're alien robot species that can turn into whatever they want, and they choose to turn into cars.
They all choose that?
When they're on Earth, they choose to turn into cars.
But every single one, there's not one who's like, I want to be a hat. Like,
some of them become helicopters. Some of them become like phones and like technology and stuff. But it honestly doesn't matter. So there is a cartoon series by as well, that was like in the 90s and early 2000s. I know absolutely nothing about it. I'm just mentioning it so that no one asks me about it later.
I've seen it. It's very good.
So let's run down to the characters really quickly. So there's Sam and Michaela, who I've already introduced you to. Mm-hmm. Then there's Captain William Lennox, who is a military guy who we do not care about, that has like a troop of very offensive military men who make very offensive jokes. Fun. And that's the whole point of their existence, I think.
Very
that
cool.
And to also be propaganda for the military.
Cadet Kelly, everyone.
Then there's Maggie Madsen, who is a former NSA data analyst and gets involved in the plot when she discovers Decepticon hacking into the military network. She doesn't really matter either.
Wait. She finds
one of the evil robots trying to hack into like a military information network, which I'll get to in a minute.
He's an evil robot. Why does he have to hack in? Why can't he just be a robot in the network already?
Because he's an alien. He just came from outer space. And he's trying to find. We'll get there. So then there's her friend Glenn, who's a hacker, and that's it. He's basically just her token black friend. Unfortunately, that's a very big trend in this movie. Is all of the people of color in these movies are basically just tokens, or like made to either be made fun of or make jokes, which is unfortunate. So Glenn's one of those characters. Then there's Ron and Judy, who's Sam's parents, who make sexual innuendos the entire movie. That's all they exist for too. Agent Simmons, who is a sexist government goon who's just kind of like an annoyance and gets in everyone's way. Then there is the Autobots, Bumblebee. You seem very excited by this.
I met Bumblebee.
You met what? Oh my god!
I have a photo of me and Bumblebee together. It was beautiful. It's one of my star photos. I love the fact.
Do you have his autograph?
No, it wasn't like that. No. I was at Universal Studios. I saw the statue. The statue spoke to me.
Oh,
I
like
met
the robot.
him. We got a photo. He was there.
Okay.
We became best friends.
There's also Optimus Prime, who's like the leader of the Autobots. And then there's others that don't matter. And then there's the Decepticons. None of them really matter, except for the leader of the Decepticons, Megatron.
He's like the king bad dude.
Yeah, he's King Daddy. Okay, so let's get into the plot. So this is the first reason why I hate Transformers, because I'm going to try to explain to you the plot. And I'm going to ask you at the end if you understand what I just told you.
Don't worry, I'll be asking questions the entire time.
That's okay. A long time ago, the Transformers world, Cybertron, was destroyed by Megatron because he was looking for this stupid artifact called the Allspark, which is like a power source or something. Like, we don't really know. They don't really explain to us.
It's a blue thingy, right?
Yeah, it's like a blue shard-looking thing. And basically, like, it's some kind of powerful thing with the ability to do whatever. And the Autobots want it to rebuild their destroyed world, Cybertron. But the Decepticons want it to take over the universe.
I already have multiple questions. Number one, when you say long time ago, is there like a specific idea?
Thousands of years ago.
Okay. And then second of all, why do the Decepticons want to take over the universe?
Because they're bad.
But do they have like good ideas? Like, are they going to like make it better, or are they just going to kill people?
They just want to take over the universe and kill it.
Okay.
So the Allspark is apparently on Earth, and Megatron goes to find it, but crash lands in the Arctic and freezes over because smart boy. Sam's ancestor.
Wait, is Megatron the bad dude or the good dude?
The bad guy.
Bad dude.
So Sam's ancestor, Captain Archibald Witwicky.
No.
Finds the frozen Megatron and accidentally triggers Megatron's navigation system and somehow gets the map to the Allspark imprinted on his glasses.
Okay, again, you can't use those glasses again. Like, he's got probably bad vision.
He basically, they become like a family heirloom, which I'll get to in a minute. But the important part of this scene is Captain Archibald Witwicky says, "No sacrifice, no victory." Oh, sorry, no sacrifice, no victory. And that's the thesis of the movie, right there.
Okay, why is he named Captain Archibald Witwicky?
Because nothing matters in this movie. Nothing matters.
I feel like this matters greatly.
Because silly. I don't know. Then there's Sector 7, which is a secret U.S. government organization that does like mysterious things. It finds the Allspark in the Colorado River and decided to hide it because it's like emitting like these energy transmissions. They decide to hide it by building the Hoover Dam over the thing.
I love that. That is my favorite thing so far. Don't tell me more. I just want to imagine that there's like a little small blue thingy in the Hoover Dam. And
the Hoover Dam hides like their little like a cave where they do all their like secret spy things, and that's where they keep the Allspark and frozen Megatron.
Idea: we take a trip to the Hoover Dam.
We find frozen Megatron.
We find the Allspark.
Well, actually, you can't. I'll get to that in a minute. So, okay, so flash forward. It's present day. The Decepticons land on Earth and attack a military base in Qatar. Qatar, I think is how you pronounce it, to hack into the U.S. military network to locate the still frozen Megatron and the Allspark, which are both under the Hoover Dam. Their mission is thwarted, however, when they cut off connection to the network, they being like the military. So a small group of survivors from this like attack by the Decepticons.
How did they cut off connection? By putting it in the Hoover Dam?
No, I think they just like unplug it. I think they just like pull out the plug. We'll fix it.
So they're not using the Hoover Dam for like multiple.
They're not at the Hoover Dam yet. We just know that it's in the Hoover Dam, but we're not there yet.
I want Hoover Dam.
We'll get there. We'll get to the dam.
Hoover.
So a small group of survivors from the military group that was out in Qatar after the attack from the Decepticons, led by Captain William Lennox, who I talked about earlier, have photos of the Decepticons and are being chased off by the evil robots to a mysterious location. And I'm guessing, because it's unclear, that they take refuge with the Air Force.
Is it like a secondary location type of situation?
Like, what do you mean? Like they get kidnapped, like
yes.
John Mulaney?
Yes. Like that's how I'm imagining it. And they're running away from a secondary location.
They're running away from the first location to get away from the Decepticons that are chasing them because they have photos of the Decepticons.
Ooh, right.
So that's when the Decepticons decide they needed to go disguise. So they turn into various like vehicles and disguise themselves.
The Transformers are also disguising themselves as vehicles.
The Autobots, yes.
Yes. So they are both disguising themselves.
Yes, that's what Transformers can. They're all Transformers, but they're like two groups of Transformers. They're both evil. One's evil, one's good, sorry. But they both can turn into various things. For a second when you said they were both evil, I was like, what? I mean, you can debate about the morals of them, but I'm not going to get into that. So one of the robots sneaks into Air Force One to try and hack the military network again, planting a virus in doing so. So he ends up finding the map to the Allspark, but not on the military network. He finds it on eBay because Sam Witwicky, our protagonist and the descendant of Archibald Witwicky, is selling his great-great-grandfather's glasses on eBay for some reason.
Why? It has the map. Like, he could see it has a map.
He can't tell. He hasn't cared enough to like notice that they have a map imprinted on the glasses. He just knows that they're useless and is going to sell them on the internet, even though they're a family heirloom.
Why would anyone buy like, some old glasses?
I mean, people buy old things all the time.
Yeah, but like these, like he's like selling these for someone to use them. Like,
I mean, I've bought like postcards that have been written on.
But that's not
like,
the same.
I mean, I guess I don't know. So the Decepticons find out that Sam is selling these glasses with the map on them. So the Decepticons start tracking Sam down.
They don't just buy it on eBay. Like, I feel like
I don't think they have money, Elliot.
Literally, kill one person, get their money, buy it on eBay.
I mean, I don't think they understand how money works, to be honest. I don't think they have I don't know if they have a currency on Cybertron. But
it sounds
anyway,
like they're kind of lame.
Anyway, so meanwhile, while all this is happening, Sam wants a car to woo Michaela with and to be cool. So he buys a used 1976 Chevrolet Camaro, which is really Bumblebee in disguise. And Bumblebee has actually been on Earth for a while. He's kind of been like marooned here. Bumblebee helps him out with like wooing Michaela by playing romantic music spontaneously and breaking down so that the two can have a weirdly creepy moment that I will go into depth later.
Okay.
So Bumblebee's now Sam's car. In the middle of the night, Bumblebee tries to contact the Autobots, but has to do so in his robot form. So he takes robot form and Sam sees him and freaks out. He's like starts running away and is attacked by Decepticons. The Decepticons pants him. Michaela saves his life when she like enters the fray at one point and like stabs a robot to death.
The Decepticons, evil dudes, they just pants him? They don't try and kill?
Like they're trying to kill him, but pants him in the process.
Why is pantsing part of the process?
Because this movie is awful.
Why is that the first step?
I don't know, but that's what happens. So Michaela saves his life, and Bumblebee comes to rescue them in like car form and drives off. And then they all meet up with Optimus Prime, who takes his Autobot form, and like the rest of the Autobots. And the Optimus Prime basically explains to Sam and Michaela what the Allspark is, how to find it with the glasses, and that they need their help. So they all go back to Sam's house to retrieve the glasses. And it's just become the whole scene becomes like a giant gag where the robots like clumsily destroy stuff in his front yard, like step on a fountain and stuff. And Sam's parents like walk into his room, Michaela's in there, and they make weird sexual and masturbation like innuendos. It's really inappropriate.
How old is Sam?
He's like 17.
How old is Michaela?
Like 17. They're like the same
age.
Okay. So that happens, but it's very migraine inducing and stupid. But then the whole point of that scene is so that the Sector 7 people can essentially raid the house, kidnap Sam, Michaela, and Bumblebee, and take off with them.
Yes.
So Sam eventually convinces them to like let them all go so they can stop Megatron, because Megatron's going to come back to life from his frozen slumber and kill the entire world. So while all this is happening, one of the Decepticons finds out where Megatron and the Allspark is, which is the Hoover Dam.
I'm lost.
Okay. Why? What are you lost by? Because this is usually where I lose people.
I'm fully lost. I zoned out for a second, and now Megatron.
You can't zone out ever. You have to pay like incredibly, impossibly good attention to understand what's going on in this movie.
I have forgotten who Megatron is.
He's
I've
the
forgotten
villain.
who the Decepticons are.
They're the villains group.
What is the Allspark made of? What does it look like?
We don't know. It's just like this blue thing. It's like a cylinder of blue. It's like, you know, the Tesseract in Marvel. It's like a square, like a cube of blue. Just imagine it's just a blue glowy thing, and it matters. Okay.
Okay.
So the Decepticons find out where Megatron and the Allspark is, and they send a message to the other Decepticons to like pick them up and to like take the Allspark.
Are they texting?
Back.
Like, are they texting each other and being like, "Hey babe, how's it going?"
Pretty much, yes. Like, it's like robot SMS.
Okay.
He turns off communication. This Decepticon turns off communications with the government from Sector 7. But Maggie and Glenn, who are in Sector 7 right now, because they kidnapped them as well.
Who's Glenn?
Glenn is the token black friend of Maggie.
Right.
Yeah, that happy thing that we love to talk about on this show. So they were like trying to hack into some information that was like in the virus that was left behind by the Decepticons earlier. And the Sector 7 found out they were doing that and kidnapped them, and that's why they're there.
Who's Maggie?
She's like a data analyst for the military.
Why is she a part of these?
I know, there's just some random characters. No one cares about them at all. They just exist. Here's the thing. This is exactly what it feels like to watch this movie. It's just like, who are you? Why do we care about you again?
They're 17. Let the poor 17-year-olds go and like just kidnap the rest of them.
So Maggie and Glenn managed to contact the Air Force for help. And
wait, Glenn, who is like also 17?
No, Glenn and Maggie are like adults.
Oh, so
only Sam and Michaela are 17.
So these are just random adults following small children.
Oh no, they were like ahead of them. They weren't even involved with the kids until like just right now.
Just right. Okay.
So the Maggie and Glenn managed to contact the Air Force for help, and the surviving military men that was led by Captain William Lennox are there, so they help out. So now it's battle time. Battle's happening. The Decepticons attack everybody. Megatron wakes up, and Sam must.
Why was Megatron asleep?
Because he was frozen, like Captain America.
Like Austin Powers.
Sure, I don't know that very well.
Wait, you're gonna use Captain America as being frozen, but you're not gonna use Austin Powers as being frozen?
I haven't seen Austin and powers. Listen, I need to get through this so I can get to the other reasons why I hate this. So basically, battle time. Megatron's awake. Decepticons are attacking, and Sam needs to run to a rendezvous point to get the Allspark to the Air Force, and is being chased down by Decepticons the entire time. The Autobots are like trying to cover him and like fighting off the Decepticons.
Wait, these Decepticons? They are machines. They should be able to go quick.
They're huge, but they're big.
How is he outrunning them?
Because the Autobots are like fighting them, so like they're slowing them down.
But he's outrun them before.
I don't know. Nothing in this movie makes sense. Do you understand now why I don't like this movie?
He is the size of a Shia LaBeouf, and these Megatrons are like too big and like
Decepticons.
Yeah,
that's Megatron's the big bad Decepticon.
Him too.
Nothing makes any sense, and though I know. So anyway, Sam is confronted by Megatron, and Sam defeats him by essentially shoving the Allspark, which is the very important thing that everyone needs to remind you. The Autobots want the Allspark to save their home planet, which is dying or dead. Sorry, and
it's already dead.
It's already dead. They want to bring it back to life with the Allspark. So this very important artifact that everyone's been fighting over, he shoves it into Megatron's chest and kills him, destroying the Allspark in the process. So since Sam screwed everything up, Optimus Prime is basically like, hey, Autobots everywhere, let's just like set up camp here. And they decide that Earth is their home now. So Sector 7 shut down, the dead Decepticons are plopped into the ocean, and Sam and Michaela are together now and make out on top of Bumblebee in car form, and are being watched by the Autobots in car form. And that's the end.
Is that the end of the first movie or the end
of the first movie?
How many movies are there?
Too many. There's I think 5 or 6 of them.
Oh my god.
There's like 3 with Shia LaBeouf in them.
How many have Bumblebee? I don't care about Shia.
I'm pretty sure all of them have Bumblebee in it.
Then that's all I need to hear. I mean, I met the actor.
So, let me ask you a question. Did you notice where the thesis "No sacrifice, no victory" comes into play?
Not at all.
Me neither. I guess you could stretch it by saying that like Sam sacrificing the Allspark caused him to have a victory, but what was he sacrificing? He was kind of sacrificing the saving of these poor alien robots' home planet.
I would like to say, when I went to Universal Studios for grad night in 12th grade, me and my friends were seeing this. We were all very excited about meeting Bumblebee, and then we started chanting "Allspark, Allspark, Allspark," and that's the Allspark being blue, Bumblebee, Shia LaBeouf. Those are the only things I know about the entirety of the movie because we started chanting them.
Well, now you know the movie. Now you basically just watched the movie.
I did.
Are you confused? Are you disoriented? Are you a little angry?
I'm not angry yet.
Well, you're gonna be. Okay, so moving on to the reasons why I hate this movie. Not just because the plot's ridiculous and confusing, but because there's a lot of other reasons why I don't like it. The first reason, and by the way, this might get a little bit film-splaining.
Wait. Are any of the reasons shy?
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
No.
Thank God. Oh, got scared for it.
I don't think you want to be like defending him though. I think he has a few sexual assault allegations against him.
Oh no, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying, oh thank God, because I was worried that the main character was going to be like a terrible human being.
Oh, he's not a good human being.
Oh, then.
But like,
great.
But
Never
he's
mind.
not the main reason I hate this.
Never mind.
So first reason I hate this, I wrote down Michael Bay is a capitalist pig. So without even going into the fact that Michael Bay is racist, misogynistic, a homophobe, he's a capitalist through and through.
Why are we not going into the fact that he's a homophobe?
We'll
Go
get
more
there.
into the fact that he's a homophobe now.
He's made a lot of weird, written in a lot of weird jokes in some of his movies, where the punchline is, people think these characters are gay, and that's gross.
I make those jokes.
Yeah, but he means it.
That is true. I do not mean any of the jokes I say.
Okay, so Michael Bay, to give some background on his career, he began his career in the advertising industry, where he won a lot of awards for his commercials because he was able to condense information into like snappy, good looking shots and deliver a message that essentially boiled down to buy this thing. It was pretty simple for him. One of his most famous commercials is the Got Milk commercial, where he quickly sets up that there's a guy, he's eating a peanut butter sandwich, and he's surrounded by like memorabilia of the duel between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. So he knows a lot about it. We get that very quickly with everything that's around him. And there's a radio next to him, and the radio guy essentially says, ring in for a prize. Who shot Alexander Hamilton? The guy goes to call in and be like, Aaron Burr, but he can't because there's so much peanut butter in his mouth that he can't talk. And so the guy on the radio hangs up on him, says, sorry, call next time. And he goes to pour some milk out to try and say the answer, but there's no milk. And so all of this could have been fixed. He would have won money if he had just got milk. So that's the award-winning advertisement that he made.
I'm in tears.
Pretty clever, but pretty dumb and pretty simple and to the point. So good enough for an advertisement, you know? Then he went to music videos, and his general aesthetic when he went to music videos was pretty much the same as it is now, which is hot women, trucks go vroom, America, hell yeah. That's the aesthetic of Michael Bay. So Michael Bay, which
is it country music?
Some of it, yes. Some of it's rock music.
Ew. Ew the country, not ew the rock.
You like country.
I like Dolly.
You like Miss Parton. So Michael Bay is really good at like one thing, which is selling aesthetic. Because he's so good at crafting like really dynamic shots and creating an aesthetic of like epicness. People borrow like a lot of his shot construction for like many years to come. For instance, have you heard of the Bay shot?
No.
So the Bay shot is like when you have a person, right, and they stand up, but we're shooting it from like a very low angle, and you're going around the subject counterclockwise very slowly. And so it kind of makes this really epic moment where they're standing up, ready to face the enemy, and it's like really cool. And he made that, and so like people credit it to him.
Specifically counterclockwise, never.
Usually
clockwise?
Counterclockwise, and it's usually them standing up or them like looking off into the distance very dramatically. So the Bay's shortcomings really come in with the fact that he is. Stop it. Elliot's like doing goofy faces at me. So Bay's shortcomings come in with the fact that he is pretty much all aesthetic and like no substance. And like aesthetic is part of substance, but it's not like aesthetic alone is not substance. Right. You know, there has to be like good story, characters, themes.
A plot.
Yeah, a good one, preferably. He's a flashy filmmaker. He's the kind of filmmaker who thrives on like sensation over story. He will use a shot, like say like a Dutch angle. Do you know what a Dutch angle is?
No.
It's like where you tilt the camera to like where it's like crooked. That's a Dutch angle. And usually you use it when like the character's world is off kilter. It's like a moment of duress. It's like it's basically trying to like mimic the feeling that the character is feeling. Michael Bay will just kind of throw it in there wherever he wants.
But if he knows how to use it, shouldn't like not to be like oh blah blah blah, but like if he knows how to use it and he's allowed to break the rules, right?
Well, the thing is he doesn't know how to use it. That's the problem. He kind of just throws these. He knows that there are certain shots that will like make things feel important or feel cool, but he doesn't really know where to apply them. So he'll just like apply them everywhere, and it kind of feels disjointed. So he'll add in like a super dramatic Dutch angle on a very unimportant line, and so it tells the audience this is important because it's a Dutch angle, but they're not saying anything important, and so the audience gets confused. So it becomes very like dissonant.
It's like saying like my favorite color's red, and it's like there's like a Dutch angle.
Yeah, it becomes like ridiculous to the point of parody.
Right.
Like it's almost like it's migraine inducing. So the editing in his films are very like fast paced and sporadic. which is supposed to give out the feeling of like anxiety, which works.
It's an action movie.
Yeah, but it's to the point where there's so many cuts in like 1 second that it disorients like the viewer. Like you can't understand what is going on, which is kind of what he's trying to make you feel like. It's like you're stuck in the action, you don't know what's going on. But like in terms of story, not very good if you don't know what's going on, you know?
I guess.
So his shots are usually busy and dynamic, but not with any purpose. And his characters, oh my God, his characters are often butchered by Bay himself. Like his scripts are not written as terribly, which I'll get into later. His scripts are not written that terribly. He just ruins his characters every time.
So he writes his own scripts.
No, other people write scripts and then he edits the scripts to make them more Michael Bay. And so he makes them like really cruel with really childish humor and like totally unlikable. All of his characters are incredibly heartless. And there's this one quote by this guy, Patrick H. Willems, who like did like a ton of research on Michael Bay's work, where he says, Michael Bay doesn't care about people. And it's a very good explanation of why all of his characters are just the worst.
Damn, just saying straight up, Michael Bay, no.
Like, have you seen Pearl Harbor?
No.
Good. It's a terrible movie. And it's a very clear example of Michael Bay trying to care about people and failing, because it's basically a Titanic ripoff.
Narcissist.
It's a Titanic ripoff, and it's just so clear where he like trudges through this love triangle and this weak character development.
I'm shaking my head.
SMH. Only it's like, and then when he reaches the part when he like blows stuff up, it feels so much more fun and exciting, because those are the parts that Michael Bay clearly cares about more than like what's supposed to be the heart of the movie, which is the characters and the romance.
If Michael Bay could just make an entire movie of just explosion, do you think he would?
I think he has. I think that's exactly what Transformers is. So all of his characters, including all the Transformers characters, are incredibly empty and lifeless and are only really animated when they tell like their incredibly unfunny jokes and are like blowing things up. So, and the reason why I said that Michael Bay is a capitalist pig is because, and most film chads know this, which is my term for like film bros, if you know the type.
But worse.
It's like, I call them film chads.
Yes.
And Michael Bay makes movies to make money, which like I'm sure he likes making movies. I'm sure like there's no evidence that he doesn't enjoy making movies, but there isn't any evidence to show that he enjoys making movies for artistic purpose, if that makes sense. Like he just kind of makes movies to fulfill his own pleasures and desires, which is fine. It just, to me, when all his pleasures and desires involve blowing things up and making his characters make butt jokes, it really doesn't come off very funny.
He knows what he wants.
I guess you could say that.
He's a man who knows what he wants, and those things that he wants are butt jokes and explosions and exploding butt jokes.
So,
are you telling me there's not a single exploding butt joke? There's got to be one.
There's none. At least
Michael
as far
Bay.
as I know. So the Transformers franchise is incredibly emblematic of the fact that he doesn't really care about making art, because he didn't really care about making Transformers. This was very much a project that he participated in to make money. He doesn't care about the toy line or the 90s cartoons. He just wanted to make like a really weird, not really for kids, not really for adults movie with like incredibly raunchy jokes and raunchy cinematography, which we'll get into in a minute, where he just destroys everything.
He wants to make a movie for college students.
No, he wants to make movies for 12-year-old boys.
12-year-old college students.
No.
I tried.
No. So think about the capitalist thing. Like, being a filmmaker means you have to participate in capitalism.
Is that what it means?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be successful, you have to kind of work within the industry, because the art form's intrinsically tied to industry and it's like entertainment and making money, like risk and reward. But there's a difference, I think, between participating in capitalism in order to make art, like just using it despite it, you know what I mean? Like making art despite capitalism. Mm-hmm. And then using art for the purposes of capitalism, the purposes of making money, which Michael Bay does. He makes art to make money.
there's the sentence, capitalism creates innovation. And then, as we all know, that it doesn't
It really doesn't.
It's failing at it. Do you think that this was innovative? Do you think this is like a new idea, new thought?
Transformers?
Yes.
No. It's very much a rehash of things people have definitely seen before. Like everything unique about Transformers is unique to Michael Bay's style of filmmaking, which is just chaos. So it's not really unique. It's kind of every bit of it is just rehashed. So that makes me really angry. So I redacted this entire like rant about cinematography. So I'm just gonna go into the parts I really care about, which is what they did to Michaela Baines.
Who's Michaela? Michaela Baines is the girl.
Yeah, she's Megan Fox in the movie.
I love Megan Fox.
I also love Megan Fox. But let me ask you a question. So, okay, first of all, I need to say that a lot of what I'm going to say is an ode to Lindsay Ellis, who is a film critic and a film essayist on YouTube. And she made this video called Framing Megan Fox, where she talks about this in like full and like more detail. So if you want to hear an actual expert like talk about what they did to Megan Fox, go check it out. But for right now, you're listening to what I have to say about it.
We are technically not experts.
We've established this.
I just want to communicate legally, no.
So here's I want to ask you a question. What do you know about Michaela Baines from Transformers? From like what you know about like popular media's portrayal of Megan Fox in Transformers, what do you know about her?
I did not know there was a girl in Transformers.
Okay. Have you heard anything about her character at all?
I've heard negative things about Megan Fox herself.
Okay.
I have heard nothing about Transformers.
Okay. So
did she even get to hold the Allspark?
No.
But cheated.
But here's the thing. Michaela Baines is often portrayed in everything but Transformers as being this really dumb, really dependent, really do you know what a lamp is?
Yes.
Like in terms of film.
No.
Okay, so a sexy lamp.
I was like, yes, a light. So a light switch.
Yes, you know what a lamp is.
I'm a human being. I've lived 19 years. I know what a lamp is.
When people talk about lamps in terms of film, they like refer to it as like, oh, she's just a sexy lamp. So like the thing is, if you have a female character who's
an object.
Yeah, people basically say if you have a female character in a movie and you could basically replace her with a sexy lamp and everything would be the same in the plot, then you have a weak female character. You have a character that doesn't add anything to the plot. She's really just there to be sexy arm candy for the male protagonist. People assume that about Michaela Baines, is that she's the sexy side piece to Sam Witwicky. But that's actually not true. Michaela Baines is actually written to be like very competent, very independent. She's like a woman in a man's world of cars. She has like a very strong knowledge of how cars work and how to like fix cars. She's consistently underestimated and undervalued by her male counterparts, like constantly. And she's really the only person in the film who knows how to like work cars that doesn't like turn into a car. And like
Bumblebee knows how to work cars.
He's a robot. Like she's the only human in the movie who knows how cars work.
Sam?
No, he is clueless.
How does he drive?
Like he doesn't know how like the structure of cars. He just can drive a car.
Yeah.
She can like fix cars and like help build cars.
In this hypothetical situation in which Laura Jean from To All the Boys was in Transformers, how much more scared do you think she would be of driving than she already is?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't know.
I would like to say if she's already asking Peter Kavinsky to be her boyfriend just for rides, then I think that she would be terrified to drive if she found out that cars are sentient.
But yeah, basically, so Michaela Baines, she's one of the man's world of cars, can like actually fix cars. She saves Sam's life at one point by stabbing a Decepticon to death. She drives Bumblebee to safety and literally, apparently in her childhood, had sacrificed herself to stay true to her father when they were both arrested for like, I think it was like Grand Theft Auto or something like that.
The child was arrested?
They were both arrested because they were both involved, and she took the fall for her dad to try and keep him out of prison. So she's actually a very well, like really well established, strong female character. But Lindsay Ellis essentially makes the case in her video that a lot of her character is lost with the cinematography of the movie, because she's essentially framed as the sexy side piece to Sam when there's like actual real character moments for her where she's like explaining her story and like her intentions and feelings about things. The camera just kind of focuses on her boobs and like on her butt and her stomach and puts her in compromising positions all the time.
Do they focus on Bumblebee's boobs and butt?
They do not. So it's just the women.
But we know Bumblebee's thick.
We know Bumblebee's got a dump truck.
He is a dump truck.
Oh my god.
Bumblebee can choose to be in car form or in dump truck form.
So like here's some examples of like Michaela Baines being totally screwed over by the cinematography. So there's a scene where when I told you that Bumblebee like tries to like be a wingman to Sam by making the car break down when they're both in the car together. So she gets out of the car and like pops the hood and starts fixing Sam's car and like evaluating it and talking about like her knowledge of cars and how men don't respect her knowledge of cars because she's a woman. And the entire time she's doing this, the camera's just kind of raking over her body, and like Sam's leering at her and clearly not listening to anything that she's saying and like freaking out because she's so hot. And the camera's like showing her like sweaty bare stomach and her boobs and her butt. She like pulls at something and they like frame it to make it look like she's humping the car. And it's really weird. Like she's having this real character moment and they make her just an object. It's really bizarre. There's another one where no one really talks about this one, but I really hate it, which is where they're in the car and the movie tries to justify her sitting on Sam's lap in the car by like, because they're like hiding or something. And so they have this really weird character relationship moment between the two of them. But the entire time she's like sitting on Sam's lap, and they cut to like a close-up of her face, and like half the shot is just her boobs pressed into her chin. It's like completely, like it's totally egregious.
That doesn't sound comfortable either.
It's not. Like they put her in weird positions. Like Michael Bay completely objectifies this character, and like there's nothing wrong. I want to make it very clear. This is not a sexually empowered character. Like there's a difference between being sexually empowered and being sexualized, because Michaela Baines is not inherently sexual. Like she doesn't use her womanly wiles to like gain the upper hand or anything. She's just hot. She's just focused on for being hot than for being a character.
I love how also they're like sexualizing her while she's literally saying everyone sexualizes me instead of like pays attention to me.
Which is just so dumb. Like instead of showing her the way that like she deserves to be shown, Michael Bay shows her the way that everyone else is seeing her,
right? Which
is so messed up. She's so corrupted by the male gaze in this movie that it low-key like ruins Megan Fox's career.
I know. Is that what ruined Megan Fox's career?
Yes, because she went on to do other things. Like you've heard of Jennifer's Body, right?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it either, which is it's fine. But basically, it was a bit of a departure.
A body or something like that? Am I wrong?
Basically, she's just like a cannibal.
Yeah.
She like turns into this like super strong cannibal and insists that she's like a god.
Cool.
And like, but basically the movie is like a feminist movie about like how girls are pitted against each other, and like it's honestly really gay. Like her and Amanda Seyfried are like gay for each other.
Gay with each other?
Yeah. Like it's made for teenage girls, but they actually marketed the movie very heavily towards teenage boys. All of the marketing material for Jennifer's Body was just Megan Fox being hot. The trailer was basically like, hey, teenage boys, remember Michaela Baines? Well, check this sexy thing out in this movie where she's like a cannibal or whatever. And like, she like tries to do other things, and they like no one will hire her for other things because she's just known as the sexy lamp from Transformers.
Right.
And like she was actually fired from Transformers. Like she did 2 movies, and then she and Michael Bay had like a falling out, and she was fired from the franchise.
But
and
she's Michaela Baines.
They replaced her with this British lady.
Of course, the Brits always have to come in, ruin everything.
The British invasion.
It's a pandemic.
But yeah, so that happens, and I feel so bad for Megan Fox because Michael Bay just ruined her. And the way that he frames Megan Fox in Transformers is not unique to the way he frames women in all of his movies. He just loves to objectify women for no purpose other than he's just a misogynistic jerk. So the next reason why I hate Transformers is its humor. So I mentioned how the humor is really unfunny and just super juvenile and pervy. And I have some examples of the jokes that
bathroom.
So one of them is when during the scene
he pees. I remember he pees.
Yes. So there's a scene where where the Autobots intercept the Sector 7 car with Sam and Michaela inside when they kidnap them from his house. And Agent Simmons in the car, Agent Simmons, so like misogynistic jerk government guy, right?
Sure.
So he says something jerkish, I guess, but really it's kind of out of nowhere where Bumblebee like pops like a thing out of him and then starts peeing gasoline on Agent Simmons, and Optimus Prime says, "Bumblebee, stop lubricating the man." Which is so dumb.
Sir, no.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Welcome to Chili's.
It's the dumbest, most out of place joke I've ever seen. I can't even express it. Like,
can you do the voice one more time? I want to hear you say it just again and again.
Bumblebee, stop lubricating the man.
Stop lubricating him. Stop it, Bumblebee. Like, what are you even doing? Don't lubricate him.
So he says, like, there's this scene, like the scene where like he's leering at Michaela fixing his car. She's like, "Oh, this thing pumps gas into the engine and makes it go faster." And he says, "Oh, I'd like to go faster."
Would he like to go faster driving or faster in other things?
Keep in mind, the entire time he's saying this, he's staring at her body. So
beautiful. Yeah, just how you want to treat a
her
woman.
Sexy 17-year-old body. So
I vomit.
Sam's parents are kind of just exist to be comic relief. The entire time they make jokes about sex and masturbation, but all the jokes are targeted at Sam, who's 17. All the jokes are targeted at him.
To all the parents out there, this is a note to you guys. I personally, Daryn, would you like to be in on this? I personally don't think that parents should sexualize their own children. Daryn, do you agree?
I would be inclined to agree with you, Elliot.
I know this is a hot take. If you want to cancel us, just do it.
There's a lot of racist jokes in this movie. The 2 black characters I mentioned. Well, there's one, the Glenn, who's the friend of Maggie and the hacker. His joke that he has all the time is that like Maggie goes to his house and there's like a ton of people in his house, and his grandma calls him from the other room. He's just like, "Shut up, grandma!" and like just is screaming at his grandma for an entire like scene. It's just constant.
Don't scream at your grandma.
But,
don't do it.
That's like the joke is he yelled. That's like his character trait is he yells a lot because he's a person of color, Then there's this other black character. There's another black character who is in the military, like one of the military guys, and he like is extremely racist towards this Latino character, which is weird, making like one of the 3 people of color in your movie like one of them is racist towards another person of color.
Good job, Michael Bay.
Basically, the Latino character is like speaking Spanish, and then this guy is just like mocking him speaking Spanish by like saying fake Spanish words and then saying just speak English at the guy.
Yeah.
He like spends the whole movie just like ragging on this Latino guy.
Just screaming, just speak English.
Pretty much. So to finish off, we have like 10 minutes left. The writing is really bad, but all of the bad things that were like done to the script was done to the script by Michael Bay, not by the screenwriter. Like most of the script is actually fine. Like the gross jokes weren't in the script. There is no objectifying of Michaela's character. In fact, she's actually developed a lot more in the script. Although there is this really terrible line in the script because there is bad dialogue in the screenplay. But the worst one that I found was when Michaela was beating up the Decepticon that was attacking Sam. She calls it an anorexic metal freak.
That is the greatest. That is the greatest thing of all time.
Like all caps, like, go to hell, you anorexic metal freak. And it's the dumbest, most offensive thing
Do they know
in the script.
Do they know what anorexic means?
I don't, it's just a robot. Like, we don't, I was just like, what?
Is it made out of metal because it's alive? It's a whole thing.
I could not explain to you why
it is a freak.
Says this.
It is a freak. I'm not going to question that part.
Freaky.
Whoa.
But you can tell with the script, whoever wrote this script, I don't remember their name, but they clearly made the movie or wrote the movie with a lot more heart than Bay made the movie. And you can make a heartfelt Transformers movie. Like there is a Transformers prequel called Bumblebee, which was produced by Michael Bay, but not directed by him. It was directed by someone with talent. And it was basically a movie about a teenage girl and Bumblebee becoming friends after Bumblebee crash lands on Earth and loses his voice. So they become friends and are there for each other because her dad died and he has lost his entire people. He's all alone. And so they basically fill that void for each other and they're like really there for each other. And it's very cute. It's a very cute movie. And that's what Transformers could have been. Meanwhile, Sam's relationship with Bumblebee is he just kind of treats him like a utility. Like, you're my car, so I guess you're cool.
Herbie fully loaded.
It's like, you get me from place to place. You're dope.
Yeah.
So you can make a robot, like a movie about like alien robots in disguise very meaningful. But Michael Bay doesn't really want to do that. He wants to make a cash grab movie that feels awesome for the 2-hour runtime, but it is really just like this, like, he wants people to walk out of the theater remembering that it felt cool without really remembering the plot or any of the jokes or like all the, just know that there was like exploding stuff and cars and America and the military and hot girls and that's it. You don't remember anything else. You just remember, I felt this way when I watched it.
The most important things are cars, military, hot girls, America. I said it first here. If you are not a car, a military, a hot girl, or an America,
you don't count.
You do not count. I'm sorry. True fans of the podcast, of the radio show, are cars,
hot girls, the military, explosions,
and America. All of America.
Well, America. That is why I have this really hyperfixation on Transformers and why I dislike it. So what do you think, Elliot? Any final thoughts before we sign off?
I think it's really, really bad. I really wanted to be like fighting it there and be like, no, it's going to be good. I believe in it. I truly believe. No.
It's honestly, I feel like if you watched it, you would understand my ire towards this movie.
I am still saying that me meeting Bumblebee, though, was like a very...
Bumblebee is a cinnamon roll, though. You would want to meet Bumblebee.
Yeah. And so with that, with everything that we've just learned, all the expertise,
all of my film explaining,
all the film explaining, we've had basically an entire class full. That's what this is. It's just a class.
We're teaching them. We're teaching them about new things.
We're lecturing.
We're teaching them about things that we're passionate about. And
yes.
I am most certainly passionate about how terrible this movie about alien robots in disguise is. It could have been good, and it wasn't.
Michael Bay. I was going to say Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, no, he's too good for
Michael
this
B.
world.
Jordan, great. Michael Bay, failed. And with that, that's basically all we've got for today.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Tune in next week to discover if we ever become experts.
Highly doubtful. Highly unlikely.
I think it's going to happen one of these times. We'll be here next Monday at 4 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in yet again. And until next time, goodbye.
Wait, we got to plug our social media.
Oh, we have to plug our social medias.
Great. We got like a few minutes. So make sure to follow Elliot
at Elliot Kelliot on Instagram.
And make sure to follow me at Daryn-ish on Instagram. We also have an Instagram for the show at Technically Not Experts. And if you missed the show, if you missed the show or you missed the last show, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, which is linked in our Instagram bio, where you can watch the recordings of our shows in case you miss any of them.
And it's also called Technically Not Experts.
It's all called Technically Not Experts. You will probably find us at Technically Not Experts.
We are somewhere.
So thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.